Hello and welcome back to the Erin Cruz Show. Tonight we have on with us Ron Bassilian. He's running for the United States Congress. He's running for District 37 here in the state of California. I want to just tell people a little bit about what I read on your website, Ron. It was really quite interesting. You are a real live walk away movement person. Seriously.
Yeah, I was walk away before walk away was cool.
Well, that's one way to put it. So I wanna literally quote something that you wrote on your website, which I thought was very interesting. It says, "I was a lifelong Democrat. I started my political life in 1992 volunteering for Jerry Brown's presidential bid. I interned for the Democrats in D.C. in 1994. I was part of Move On's protests against the Iraq War in 2003, at least until I saw them devolve," that's an interesting word, "into the Democrats' propaganda arm. This began a long line of disappointments with the Democrats until Trump's victory made me decide it's time for a switch." So, welcome to the Erin Cruz Show. We have a lot to talk about. I can't wait to hear your story. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, my life. I'll say that. And when I say the thing about those of us who switch, especially people like me who've been, in the belly of the beast, so to speak, is we know all the tricks, or I know all the tricks that the left pulls. I know all the tricks that Democrats pull. And let me tell you, the tricks they've been pulling these last few months, they are running so scared because they know they have no program to run on.
Well, they're not serving the American people.
Oh, no, obviously.
Even the most disadvantaged groups. And the homelessness level is so high.
Well, yeah, and we're talking to constituents in the district, and even they get it. Their supposed caring for the homeless is a whole lot of nonsense. It's really that they don't feel like protecting actual citizens anymore. They're backing out of the public safety model. Because a few other people are homeless, but a lot more criminals hide among the homeless, and nobody does anything about it. The cops can't do anything about it. People can't do anything about it. And we're supposed to just kind of live with this.
Right. So now what is it that, obviously you're running against an incumbent. And what is it that you see that he or she is not doing, that you see that you can do better?
Well, she's not doing anything. Erin Bass is a professional politician. She's not even in this district. Right now, she's out there campaigning in other districts, in swing districts like Steve Knight of Palmdale or Dana Rohrabacher of Orange County. She really doesn't do anything for our district. You don't hear about anything she's done. She's running about post-Trump. And this is what I mean when I say I know what the Democrats are up to. When they say something just like oppose a Republican, what they're really saying is they're not running off of any actual issues. They're running off of their usual protect their own people, and forget the rest of us. I don't know what else to say about it.
They're not serving the people. It sounds like she's not serving the people.
No, she's not, and I'll let you in a little secret. Erin Bass is a black woman, and she goes with this mystique that she somehow represents like the black community. Her main base of support is white Culver City liberals, which Culver City is a pretty wealthy district. I've seen her fiercest supporters. They're all your stereotypical white liberal. And one thing my campaign is trying to do is do an end run around her. We're going into the poorer districts. We're talking to poorer Latinos, poorer blacks. And look, if you have a work ethic, you want to raise a family, you abide by the law, you're a Republican at this point.
If you like laws, if you want a country for your family to be able to live in where communism isn't in power, pretty much that's it. But really seriously, it is a concern because so many of these communities are affected. And,
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of them are disenfranchised folks who haven't had anybody working for them for a very long time.
Oh,
And they don't know who to
absolutely.
trust, and they just vote for the name again just because, well, maybe it doesn't affect them. And really, the reality is that it does affect them.
Well, absolutely. And the other thing is, we we got to fight. The Democrats brand us. They brand us as like these plutocrats or whatever. The Democrats, we should be branding them as vultures. They come into a community, they pick on the weaknesses until it collapses, and then they feast off the corpse. That's what happens in places like Chicago. Like, you think they care about shootings in Chicago? No, they don't care. It doesn't affect them as a party. Same thing in our district. Look, Crenshaw, South Central, that's my district. And it's right there in the heart of one of the wealthiest cities of the world. We have so many opportunities. We have so much work to do as a country, so many opportunities, so many jobs available, and nobody's reaching out to these guys.
Right. And that's her job, is literally to represent them in Congress and to help the district have better opportunities for themselves. One thing I like to think of the walk away movement is that, and I know that you were walk away before it was cool, as you say.
That's fine. No, I have absolute respect for everybody that walks away. I'm glad I'm not the only one. That would have sucked. But I think a lot of people are seeing the exact same thing I did. All this talk the Democrats have about supporting the little guy or the little woman or the little transgender or whatever, it's all talk. They don't really mean any of it. They don't care. And that's my other joke. The Democrats believe in socialism. Well, as Republicans, we believe police and public safety are a social good. And it seems to be the one thing that the Democrats don't really care about. They don't want police. They don't want to be responsible for people's safety.
Well, national security, the function of government should be very limited, really. We've gone way outside the realms of what is good and proper for, in terms of way too much government. That's what the space we're in right now. But national security, domestic security, that's an issue. And policing is important. Unfortunately, the Democrats have contributed to a space where everything's negative. They actually encourage lawlessness, in fact, with a lot of their legislation, and we've seen that with immigration recently. And that's a concern. That's a really big concern. So where do you stand on these issues like immigration?
Oh, I'm absolutely for keeping immigration legal. Look, you're either for a secure border or you're for open borders. It's like saying you're half for pregnancy. There's no halfway about it. And, people are like, oh, well, a wall doesn't work. I'm like, well, do you at least believe in border security? Would you believe in whatever?
We have lots of technology.
Yeah, exactly. Like I go to Israel on occasion. That's about as secure a border as you're going to get, and they have all sorts of ways of doing it. But, when you confront people on that, they're really not into border security. And that's what Trump has said over and over again. If we don't secure the border, everything else is pointless. We don't secure the border. As Trump said over and over again, we have to go after the criminal illegals. That's his priority, and the Democrats always make it like, well, Trump's against all immigrants, and that's just nonsense.
I believe he's after, he stands for legal immigration and a land of laws, no border, no country. It's important to have order, especially for for different reasons. One of them is economy. Strong economies north and south of the border because of order.
Here's the thing, and it bugs me. It's like, why are we even debating this? That's how scary this election is, And I have people I'm debating, like, what's your problem with illegal immigration? And my joke is like trying to debate with somebody about keeping your big toe. Like, what do you need a big toe for? I'm like, well, I haven't thought about it until now, but why are you even bringing it up? Like, this is a given.
It's a pawn. Is that what you
Yeah.
see? It's just a conversation piece, a distraction piece, another Democrat tactic to divide.
Well, no, the Democrats honestly believe in open borders, and they don't want to admit it. But every debate you have with any one of their people, that's that's what they're always arguing for, even though they don't admit it. They don't, you know, the whole child separation thing. I'm like, well, what do you do if an adult crosses a border illegally with a minor? You know, they don't have an answer for that. They don't care. You know, you saw the Candace Owens things where like the kids are treated better than she was in public school. They don't care. That's not it for them. Their motive is if we catch somebody crossing the border illegally, we have to let them into the country and give them a promise to appear. That's their solution. That's open borders.
Yeah, and that
You
is no
know,
solution. That's allowing somebody who's trafficked a child across. Yeah,
to traffic a
there's a lot to
child,
that.
to work under the table with no rights, with no minimum wage, with none of the things the rest of us have to deal with. You know, this is the country they want. They want a country where people just work under the table. There's no employment law anymore. There's no labor law, nothing like that.
That's a concern. So now, as it relates to your district, which is District 37, what are the biggest needs of the constituency there? What are they telling you is most important?
Homelessness and crime. We can run off of that issue alone, and that's what I'm saying is people are getting desperate.
Right.
You know, my joke is we're even getting coyotes coming back into LA. Like Culver City has had 40 some odd pet deaths in the last 2 months when we've had like 2 in the last 10 years. And the people can't do anything about it. The city won't do anything about it. My joke is it's like the coyotes can smell anarchy. We're helpless. You know, we just get these homeless camps metastasizing. They bring crime, they bring filth, they bring disease, and there's nothing we can do about it. All that government wants to do is make it another excuse to raise our taxes and pass more regulations on housing. You know.
So your solution, when you go into Congress, how will you work with California because there's separation of power, so to speak? I mean, what?
Well, there's a separation. I admit there's a separation of federal and state, right?
Right. So what would you do on a federal level that would aid in improving California?
First of all, I would be a huge supporter of Trump's immigration policy and defender of them, and really push them among my constituents that Trump has our best interests at heart when it comes to immigration, and fight the lies of the Democrats that Trump is somehow anti-immigrant or the Republicans are anti-immigrant, because we're not. We're for laws. We're for doing it legally. We want to make it easier for somebody to immigrate here legally than illegally.
Right.
And that is something we can do. I also feel that in foreign relations and foreign trade, I can help a lot. Los Angeles is a huge beneficiary of the Pacific Rim trade ring. You know, people are worried that Trump's tariffs are going to start a new trade war. We're actually seeing the exact opposite. Trump's trade policies are bringing new jobs, bringing new employment opportunities, bringing back investment. And here's the other thing. My district is so blue, we don't have a Republican candidate for either the state assembly or the state senate districts. So part of what I have to do is just be a spokesman for our district at the state level. I mean, I can't do anything about it, but you know, you better believe we're going to have candidates for the 2020 election in both those seats.
Right.
So I have to speak for all of these issues, for all of our constituents.
Right, and that's important. That is an important role because you are a voice. And currently, with the media situation, clearly they are doing all of the constituencies across the country and across the state a major disservice because they're not giving people accurate information. And that's a big part of it. And yes, an elected person can have that voice.
Yeah, exactly. They silence us so they can smear us, you know. And the fact is, I am verified on Twitter. I have the tag as a candidate on Twitter. And that gives me certain liberties to really be able to say things. And it's a lot harder. If they silence me, it's much bigger an issue than if they silence a private citizen. Because if they silence a candidate, then it's election meddling, right?
Right.
And that was actually something I pointed out on my Twitter feed. I was shadow banned for a while, and that got huge.
What is your Twitter handle, by the way, for our listeners?
Ron for California. That's RON, the number 4, California.
The whole entire word California.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. No, that's good. We just need to know. I'm going to make sure, and I'm going to put that right down in the comments so that way everybody knows and they can connect with you. I know we're going to share this interview tomorrow night, and the people are watching this now, and it's like a big rewind. It's like a tunnel twist right now of the mind. But really, people will be able to connect with you because that's what the people want. They want to be able to hear what you have to say. They want to know what you're thinking. They want to know what you're going to do. And they want to be able to connect with you. And the media has pretty much put the people in a corner where you either get information from them or you get it from the internet. And now with social media, they can get it directly from you. So that's wonderful. So hopefully everybody connects with you.
And that's why they're trying to silence us on social media. Like I said, they want to silence us to smear us. The people they're silencing are not, they're not silencing the David Dukes or the Richard Spencers. Those guys make great foils for them. But, Carl Benjamin, Alex Jones, those guys say the real stuff which challenges the narrative. You don't have to agree with them on everything, but they have provided great information. And that's what they're trying to silence. And you see what they're coming up with. They pretended that guy Patrick Little was the front runner for the California Senate seat. And I
ran for U.S. Senate against him, and it was outrageous that we had a Holocaust denier running.
Yeah, but he only got 50,000 votes, and everybody, even CrowdPack, ran with the idea that he was somehow the front runner. He got no votes. My joke is I expect about 50,000 people in California to think that Jews control the planet, By the way, I'm Jewish myself, so it's a joke among my people. Sweet. I didn't know that.
Nonetheless, I don't have anything to say about that, but, I was heavily attacked by Patrick Little and his supporters very violently, very rudely, definitely not Republicans, definitely not conservatives, most definitely not, and also lacking strong morals and values. But nonetheless, that aside, I think the left is doing all they can to try to stop the red wave 2018 and beyond, and the taking back of the country, really, because less
I like
tax.
calling us a red brick wall because we are just a solid bulwark in this country of standard traditional values of work and family and law and order. That's just that blue wave is going to dash right up against it and fall back into the ocean where it came from.
It's a great thought. And, future generations are counting on us. And that's the way to look at it. Legal immigrants as well for generations and generations to come. And it's important. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on the Erin Cruz Show. I want to thank you for spending your time and sharing with us a little bit about your campaign. Hopefully everybody can get connected with you on Twitter. We're also going to provide your website, and hopefully people can take a look at what you're running on, more about your platform, and get involved.
Yeah, just a quick note, my Twitter page is probably my most dynamic. I also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Ron437. That's RONFOR37. I am very accessible. This can be a new age where people actually interact with their representative. Right. That's not something Karen Bass does.
Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you so much, Ron, for coming on.
Thank you, Erin.
God bless.
To hear more and to learn more on how you can make an impact or about the Erin Cruz Show, visit us online at erincruz.com. That's ERINCRUZ.com.